Coming to you live from deep within. Well, it's actually quite balmy right now, but it does have a lot of leaves blowing everywhere. Radioactive wasteland. We are the survivors. Well, I am also the survivors of the alt-right keck-popalypse. Once,
Polydopolyp.
yeah, Popacropolypse.
Snuffleupagus.
Once more waiting. The few, the brave, the bitchy. Once more wading into battle against the bonobo hordes with. Yep. What bonobos teach us about choosing better men. Oh, those bonobos. Such angels in chimp suits. Rantzerker number 246, which I thought would be particularly entertaining for Karen because she definitely has thoughts about the bonobo. So Brian, did you want to give us an overview?
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is this a request? Is this one of the
this is
Richard's little his fetish for
brought to you by Richard's
mommy female dating strategy people. So this is Manifestelle making a video called What Bonobos Teach Us About Choosing Better Men, where she is essentially making the claim that women control access to reproduction, which means the next generation, and that they should use that not responsibly per se, but like to
their own
construct
benefit?
The future, basically. So that's I mean, I watched the whole thing. That's the summary of the video.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but we should hear her arguments. And she's using the bonobos, because that's how you say it. It's bonobo. She's using the bonobos and their society, their female-led society, as the model that humans should take inspiration from. So.
Okay, but before we get into the bonos, let's do the things. So if you want to send us a message, please do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And we are doing our monthly fundraiser. It's at feedthebadger.com/support. Very important for you guys to help out because you are the only stubborn bastards we can appeal to continue our work. So with that, let's get back into it. First time code.
The first hypothesis as to why female bonobos have higher status than male bonobos is the self-organization hypothesis. And this basically proposes that winning and losing conflicts can create a self-reinforcing cycle. In other words, individuals who have just lost a conflict are more likely to lose again, while those who have won are more likely to continue winning. It's similar to the rich get richer, the poor get poorer analogy. When you win, you're more likely to win again, and when you lose, you're more likely to lose again. And the second hypothesis is...
Okay, can we address the first hypothesis?
No, that actually is sound. That's sound.
Okay, but there are implications that she's not talking about, because I actually recently looked into bonobos. Bonobos?
Bonobos.
Yes, bonobos.
Okay, and I read a paper on the rate of violence in bonobo society. Now, she's right that bonobo females win contests with males and are actually a lot more aggressive towards males, and bonobo males are less aggressive towards female bonobos, but there is a tremendous amount of male-male aggression in bonobo society, in fact more than chimp society. Yes. And the overall rate of aggression in bonobo society is substantially greater. And if you remove what might be outliers like chimps killing other chimps, usually for probably gross infractions of the hierarchy and social norms,
or just in warfare, intertribal
warfare. And why is there intertribal warfare with chimps? Because they're in more resource. There's more resource competition in the regions that they exist in.
That's not why. But
really?
No,
okay. no, go ahead.
It's not. It's because there's more intrasexual cooperation between chimpanzee males than there is between bonobo males, right? So basically, like the warfare, the intertribal warfare doesn't generally occur in lean seasons where everybody's like hungry and resources are scarce, right? Because everybody's just focused on extracting as much food out of the territory that they have, and they're too weak to go to war, right? It's when they're fat and bored that they go to war, right? Yeah. So it's a little bit more complicated than saying it's like a resource competition. If it is a resource competition, it's kind of that evolutionary psychology kind of explanation, like male lions don't understand that sex makes babies, and they don't understand that they want to make their own babies, right? But they still kill all of the babies of the previous male when they take over a pride, because and they don't know that it's going to throw all the females into estrus and they're all going to be willing to mate with him, right? They don't understand that. They're not making a calculation, right? It's just that the male lions that do that, they pass on more copies of their genes, and the female lions that kill their small litters, 1 to 2 cubs, and then just go into heat right away again and try again and have larger litters typically, right? They end up producing more offspring over time, over their lifetimes.
And presumably the female lions that kill other lionesses' cubs also get more of the lion's share of resource.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it's like, well, I mean, there's no lion's share of resources. The lionesses do all the hunting, but they get the lion's share.
Actually, I heard that
the lioness's share of the
I actually heard that
genes passed on.
The reason why the male lions are the size they are is because there's different types of prey to exploit during different seasons. So they keep their size in order to be able to muscle down larger prey.
That's because a lot of lions are on their own.
Yeah, okay.
Or they're in like bachelor pods of like maybe 1 or 2 or 3.
I thought it was also prey specialization, but I mean,
it would be for prey specialization if you're on your own, or if you're just in a pod of 1 or 2 or 3 male lions, right? Just like a little group, a loose coalition, right, of males that come together because they don't have any females. There are no females present, right? And you're going to cooperate with each other in order to survive, right? You need to keep that bulk up because, like that's a little bit different from maybe 8 or 9 lionesses who are all cooperating in one hunt. You only have 1 or 2 or 3 males who have to fend for themselves.
Okay, well, what I heard, and you can look into it after this, is basically that male lions specialize in much larger prey, and there's certain seasons where that's the only prey that's available. But look it up and fact check it. We should probably get back to the actual. So
the bonobos.
The bonobos. So the actual rate of violence in bonobo society is actually pretty high.
It's higher than among chimpanzees.
It's higher than among chimpanzees. It just has
in terms of in-group violence.
Yeah, in-group violence. It just has a different pattern. There is tremendous amounts of violence between male bonobos, right? Bonobos. Now I'm mixing myself up. There is a tremendous amount of intersectional violence between male bonobos. In fact, there's more than between male chimps. And also, and this is going to come right to the heart of her thesis, either bonobos receive a better reproductive benefit from being violent, or it's not fundamentally different than chimps. So
well, the issue is, right, because she's like, okay, so how is this better? Well, how is it better? Common chimpanzees are like, bonobos and chimps split off from each other when the Congo River formed, and the bonobos are basically on the southern side of the river, and the common chimpanzees are on the northern side, right? And they can't swim, so and bonobos should be really thankful for that, because if chimpanzees ever learn to swim, that's the end of the bonobos. But chimpanzees are much more numerous, something like 20 times more numerous than bonobos, but they don't actually live under extreme levels of human protection from poachers, from predators, from whatever, right? Bonobos are basically living in a wildlife preserve that's highly protected, right? Like their existence is being subsidized by human beings, right? Because they just cannot keep their population levels up because they just, and there's no competition where they are. There's no competition for the same things that they want, right? So it's like, so you have all these chimpanzees that are fighting amongst each other, right? In you know, group on group, right? And they're expanding, right? And then you have these bonobos that are constantly shrinking despite being like heavily protected by human beings. So I'm sorry, but your reproductive model sucks, bitch. that might explain why you're a feminist.
Okay, let's listen to the second hypothesis.
The reproductive control hypothesis. And this hypothesis focuses on the evolutionary and social mechanisms that favor non-aggressive male mating strategies. It proposes that when males have limited ability to monopolize access to fertile females, aggression becomes a less effective reproductive tactic. I mean, surprise, surprise.
Wrong!
What? Aggression against whom? Aggression against whom? Like aggression against females? No. Bonobos are way more aggressive against other males than male chimpanzees are, right? Yeah? Because male chimpanzees form bonds and they maintain their bonds. They actually spend way more time together doing social grooming and other social activities than they spend with females. Right. Because they're maintaining their bromances. They're like maintaining their relationships, right, with other males. Because, you know, when you go to war against those other guys, those assholes down the valley, right, you need to be able to count on each other, right? So you need to know, like, okay, so how many dead skin flakes did this guy pick off of me and eat? And how many fleas did he pick off of me and eat? Right? Yeah, and how big an asshole was he to me when the harem went into estrus, right? And I started sniffing around a little bit, right? Okay, and you know, so it's like you cooperation among chimpanzee males is actually extremely high, because they're all brothers and uncles and fathers and sons and nephews and cousins, right? Okay, they're all related to each other. And you know, and the females go off, and this is the lifestyle that they cultivated, that was necessitated because they were a highly populated species north of the Congo. And south of the Congo, the bonobos were just completely cut off from any and all intraspecies competition, right? So they basically just let the women take. The males got lazy and let the women take over, and now they're dying out.
Not quite the message that she intended. There's so when I looked at the study on rates of aggression in chimpanzee society, male chimps are less aggressive towards males. They are more aggressive towards females.
Sure.
Than chimps or bonobos.
Bonobos
bonobo males are towards female chimps.
Well, I got some things to say about that.
But here's the thing. It is overall, there's less aggression. And here's where it gets really interesting. There is, I believe what I remember, a tremendous amount of female aggression in bonobo societies.
Oh yeah. No, 100%.
Horrifying levels of female aggression in bonobo society. So chimp society overall is relatively peaceful. And then there's also the problem is that they're asserting that in chimp society versus bonobo society, chimps have a greater reproductive incentive for being violent, which is 100% false.
Well, it depends. They don't have
a greater.
They don't have a greater incentive for in-group violence.
Yeah. Well,
they have a
is.
much lower incentive for
They have much lower
violence.
incentive for in-group violence. Male bonobos are tremendously violent. They're more monopolizing with each other, and their violence, I believe, actually correlates to reproductive success.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To a greater degree than chimps.
It's actually kind of hilarious because, you know, when you look at if you look at like a troop of chimps and say there's 5 males, 5 dominant males and maybe like 12 or 15 subordinate males, right? And then there's there's the adolescents and the juveniles and the, you know, half of which are going to be male, right? But among the adult males, you might have 5 dominant and 15, 20 subordinate ones, right? And you know, about 80% of the offspring are sired by those 5 dominant males. Mm-hmm. And it's split about 20% each among that 80%. So 15% each, right? And then there's that other 20% where you have like the kind of the sneaky guys, well, not the nice guys, okay, like the guys who, like, they take a shine to one particular female, and this is what they think happened with humans, by the way. They took a shine to a particular female, right? This guy, he's like, oh, I'm kind of sweet on her, and he helps her with her kids, and he shares his food with her, and you know, and he, like, you know, babysits and he does things for her, and he gives her extra social grooming and pays attention to her and all of this, right? And then when she gets a chance, she sneaks off into the bushes when she's actually fertile and has sex with that good father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then so about 20% of the offspring in chimpanzee society are sired by those males within the context of those kinds of relationships, right? So,
yeah. And
but with bonobos, it's basically 60% of all the offspring are sired by one male.
Mm.
And the reason that he gets all the bitches and sex every day, okay, is not because he's super awesome. It's not because he gives any value. It's not because he even is a leader, right? It's because his mother is the top female, and he's her favorite son.
Yeah, and she is usually tremendously violent. Yes. So the status hierarchy is actually on females, and because the status hierarchy is on females, they are incredibly violent to each other.
Oh yeah, no, and that mother will go and violently rip apart a mating pair. If it's not her son, they're not going to mate.
Yeah, so let's review. Bonobo society has tremendous amounts of female aggression, no male cooperation, and
no male cooperation.
No male cooperation. So there's tremendous amounts of male aggression as well. It's overall a far more aggressive society. And although,
but you know, there's one Brad Pitt who gets all the honeys.
Yeah, there's one Brad Pitt who gets all the babes. Actually, it wouldn't even be Brad Pitt, because Brad Pitt became Brad Pitt for his own, you know,
from his own efforts, right?
There would be one King Charles.
Yeah, one King Charles.
One King Charles, ladies, one King Charles. So he wouldn't even be a man who was chosen by the female bonobos. No, it would be because Ma Baker cracked your skulls in and said, my boy gets to rape you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no, and here's the thing too, right? Like they say, oh, and they're the love monkey. They're the love monkey. Okay.
Oh, good
Okay,
Lord.
so like chimpanzees, bonobos, the males stay some of the females stay with the group, right? They're called the resident females. Pretty much all of the males stay with the group, right? Because they're all related, and so they don't like try to kill each other all the time. And because they're you're my brother, man. And but so you have these adolescent and young adult females, right? They're not sexually mature yet, right? Coming from other groups to join this new group. Well, what do they have? They have 24/7, 52 weeks a year, partial sexual swellings. So these are the equivalent of 13-year-old girls or 12-year-old girls, right? Okay. They have permanent sexual swellings all the time, right? Not just when because they're not fertile, right? So not when they're fertile, all the time. And they use that to bribe the males in the troop into tolerating them, maybe protecting them against the aggressive resident females, particularly the dominant one, right? And to help them navigate entry and acceptance into the tribe. And you will literally see, like this adolescent female running up and grabbing some sugar cane or some fruit from
Is this
a male's
bonobo society or chimp?
bonobos.
Okay.
Bonobos. Yeah, run up and grab a piece of fruit or sugar cane from an adult male's patch, right? And normally, like everybody fends for themselves. It's everybody for themselves in bonobo society.
Bonobos
right?
are ghetto.
Yeah. And so she'll run in and she'll grab it and she'll just turn her ass up so that he'll have sex with her and not beat her for taking that food. Right? So you literally have child prostitution
in bonobo society.
And
that's it doesn't happen in chimp society.
Well, because the adolescent females don't have permanent sexual swellings because they don't need to whore themselves out.
Oh, okay. Food. This is sounding like a really lovely society,
No, it's great. It's great.
Violent
it's wonderful.
Female competition, and the most violent female, the one who can crack the most skulls, tear the most weaves, scratch the most
and kill the most of her rivals' babies.
And kill the most. She's the one. Her what is that?
Her favored son. Her favored son is gonna sire. He's gonna sire all the freaking offspring.
Desirable. He could be Norman Bates. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it's just like it's a recipe for psychopathy.
Yeah, it's a psychopathy. And then also, if you are an unattached young female, you have to trade your sexuality for social acceptance.
At least for protection. For protection
and food
from males. Yeah, and food.
And protection from the resident aggressive females. The resident Ma Baker, who's going to make you reproduce with her gonk of a son.
Yep.
Wow.
And all of these things with they're like, oh, and they resolve conflicts through sexual activity. And it's like most of that in terms of males resolving conflict through male sexual interaction among bonobos, most of that looks like prison rape, right? There's a lot of grunting on the part of the one who's doing the fucking, right? And there's a lot of screaming, right? And cringing on the part of the one who's not dominant.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did anybody get the idea that we should model human society
off of
on these fucking monkeys that, as far as I'm concerned, let them die out.
God damn, yeah. And I've actually heard that zookeepers find bonobos to be more horrifying to deal with than chimps, because they do things like they don't just kill you outright. What chimps will be like, yeah, we gotta get rid of you. You're an absolute disruption to the and maybe also chimp males, have a strong pimp hand. Okay,
yeah.
But female bonobos will do things like chew off other, like, I don't want to say misbehaving bonobos, probably just bonobos they don't like. They'll chew off their fingers because
or their penises,
but their fingers in particular means that they won't be able to gather resources. They won't be able to escape from predators.
They won't be able to build nests.
They don't just kill. They make sure that your death is long and lingering and torturous and violent.
Yeah,
like they understand torture, bonobos. They understand torture.
Meanwhile, you have a troop of chimpanzees. They had like a female chimp, right, who was born with the equivalent of Down syndrome, right? So this is a troop out in the wild, and everybody in the troop understood, right, that she could cross social boundaries, right? They would let her get away with crossing all kinds of social boundaries because they knew she was different. They knew she was like handicapped. They knew she was just like, and it was a fat season, right? Like resources were plentiful and everybody just basically humored her and were like willing to just kind of leave her to like behave like an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like everyone from the top males to all of the people on the bottom of the hierarchy, right? They were just like, oh, they were very indulgent with her, right? And it's like, yeah. Bonobos, no.
No. Yeah, and they also bite off penises of males, and yeah, this sounds like a really lovely society, Manifestelle. But here's the thing, okay? I'm not a super fan of chimps either. I mean, I don't want to say maybe I'm bringing too much emotion into it. I don't think that they are necessarily a good thing to model off either, because there are things about their society that's a little psychopathic, but not
they're an 80-20 society, right? So
yeah, it's not like bonobos. Bonobos are just they're just even they're just beyond.
Yeah.
And again, the only thing that bonobos have going for them is that, or is it bonobos? Bonobos have going for them is that there is less male on female aggression. But the problem, apparently, is that once women or females start to establish this kind of a dominant system, everything goes to absolute hell. You start having child prostitution. You start having torture. You start having unbelievable levels of violence between male chimps. You start having the male chimp that gets all the girls is the gonk, who's Ma Baker's most favorite son, who's also incredibly violent.
Yep.
Right? It just turns into a slew. It goes backwards, shall we say?
Yep. Oh yeah. No, it's a high, and it's not reproductively viable.
No.
As I've said, like they need human protection just to.
It is the
not die out quicker than they already were, without any external competition.
Yeah.
Right.
It is the end game of unchecked female aggression.
Yeah.
And competition and status seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to go for another time code, Brian?
Yeah, I jumped ahead a little bit. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Is the synchronization of female reproduction. If multiple females are fertile at the same time, it can become impossible for a single male to control or monopolize all of his opportunities. So this one is more of a logistical issue.
She thinks she's going to be Ma Baker. She thinks she's going to be Ma Baker. She thinks she's going to be on the top of the hierarchy. The appeal for this, for her, in my opinion, just judging from how she's, her affectation, is that it is absolute control over the sexual resources of other women. All right, let's.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the idea that women's cycles seem to sync when they spend a lot of time together. And I wonder if that phenomenon, if true and repeatable, is at all tied to this strategy of preventing male monopolization, right?
What the frick are you talking about? So you want to be mated by a train of men?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A train of men, that's fine, right? Every man's sperm gets his shot. But the idea of synchronized estrus, right? That doesn't really come into play in climates where there's no winter. Right? Like, it comes into play in climates where there's winter, or in climates, or in species where every female goes into estrus at the same time, okay? Because you have a season where your offspring will survive, right? And grow to adulthood within a certain amount of time, right? Like how often do mice go into estrus, right? As soon as they've raised their pups. Well, how long does that take? Weeks, right? And then they just go into estrus again. And if all their pups die, they go into estrus again right away.
Okay.
Right?
Mice on your mind?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I caught another one. I heard him squeaking. I heard a little snap, and then I heard him squeaking. It's a humane trap, people. It's a humane trap. He was just startled by the door closing.
Okay, but that doesn't really solve the. Karen asked to borrow one of my cats before the show started, so we found out that she has a mouse infestation. But continue about the seasonal action.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, some animals are seasonal, right? And so it's like, okay, so female lions, when a new male takes over the pride, he kills all of the nursing cubs and juvenile cubs, right? He kills them all off because he wants, right, the females to not be reproductively burdened, right, by nursing, so that they'll just go into estrus right away, right? They don't have a season, right? They can go into estrus anytime they're not actually nursing cubs, anytime they're not actively looking after cubs. So within a few days of the male lion killing off all these cubs, the females all go into estrus again, and they all start flirting with him, and then he mates with them, and then he gets to have his shot, right? And he does that because if he waits until these cubs are 2 years old before he gets his shot, well, he might have been usurped by then by yet a different male, right? So, like, he's not making that calculation consciously, because he probably doesn't even know that sex makes babies, right? Or that his babies are more valuable than anybody else's babies, right? Or that what he wants is to pass on his genes. It's just, that was the strategy, that was the thing that worked in the past, and that tendency just got passed down over and over and over and over again through thousands of iterations. And so the male lions that do that, they're the ones that pass on the most copies of their genes, right? So when you look at bonobo society, right? It's actually probably a really good thing if females all go into estrus at once. What's even more good in terms of reproductive viability is not knowing when you're in estrus and not necessarily giving any kind of detectable signals that you're in estrus. But
that's, I don't think she's talking about one man monopolizing all the women. She's talking about about monogamy. She's talking about.
Oh yeah, no. If they all go into estrus at the same time, one male won't be able to impregnate them all. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They'll stay in estrus until they're impregnated, and all he has to do is mate guard.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or have his mother mate guard.
Yeah, well, she doesn't know what the hell
which is what bonobo mothers do. They mate guard. They're like, you're not gonna fuck someone who's not my favored son.
You're not gonna.
And she'll go beat the shit out of that bitch.
You're gonna have sex with Cletus. That's it. Cue the banjos.
Yeah.
But she's not thinking about one male monopolizing all of the females, which is 100% mostly what happens in bonobo or bonobo society. She's thinking about a monogamous relationship where a single male monopolizes the sexuality of a single female. That's what she hates.
Okay, play a little bit more so I can see if that's what she's getting at.
Because of these two factors, concealed ovulation and synchronization of female reproduction, they both give women more leverage over reproduction, over having children, and they both help women in de-incentivizing male aggression. Moving on, the third
That's true. Cryptic ovulation disincentivizes male aggression. That's why human males are so much more cooperative with each other than any other males in society, right?
In the animal kingdom, really.
Yeah, also
wolves.
Also boobs.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Boobs really help because like, ironically, boobs evolved, like permanent breasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They evolved in order to basically signal to males that I'm not fertile. I'm not fertile, right? I'm nursing young right now, and I'm not fertile. I can't be impregnated, right?
And yet that became a
It became a sexual thing over millennia, because it's a sign that, okay, you have the tits to be able to feed a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So it sort of became its own kind of signal. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't signal fertility because it's not like they disappear when we're not ovulating. But you have to consider what she's saying within context. She's saying that every female going into estrus at the same time, I guess with concealed ovulation, means that women's sexuality can't be monopolized?
Apparently, but in the context of bonobos, like the
Cletus,
the dominant female's Cletus son has the monopoly, 60%.
Yeah,
it
does, and it actually all the estrus happening at the same time enables that in a way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's when the mother knows.
Yes. It's like a signal. So she's like, okay, well, here's the time where me and the, I don't know, the I don't want to call out me and the Banjo sisters go out and make sure that only Cletus gets to mate, right?
Yeah.
like what the hell?
I mean, but cryptic ovulation would actually put a stop to that.
Yeah, but the thing is that cryptic ovulation reduces, it's all associated with monogamy.
Yes.
It's so, and I'm also coming at this from previous things that I've heard her say. So fair enough. I've know more of her corpus, or whatever you want to call it. Her
thesis,
her hypothesis about reality. And I'm pretty sure it's men monopolizing women's sexuality through marriage. If that makes any sense.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, no, give me a fucking break, bitch. Okay, if you don't want to get married, don't get married. Don't have kids. Don't saddle your freaking your sperm donor with a $200,000 baby mortgage.
Yeah. Well,
do it on your own, like the bonobos.
Exactly. Okay. But they don't take that message. Let's watch a little bit more. Is this the second time code?
Yeah, let me just double check my time code. It's there's another minute and so there's more to the argument here.
Okay.
And then there's a time code after this?
Yeah, there's another one after this.
Okay, just before you continue, feedthebadger.com/justatip to make commentary. Send those comments in, guys. Hear what you have to say. All right.
Third hypothesis as to why female bonobos have higher status than the much bigger male bonobos is the female coalition formation hypothesis. The authors of the paper...
Yeah, the feminist hypothesis. Yeah, no, the feminists took over bonobos and they're dying. They're dying out as a species. All right. Great work, ladies.
Yeah, feminists took over. They unleashed massive amounts of female competition. Ma Baker's Cletus is the only man who has sex, and also all of the young females have to have sex with the males just to be able to survive. Yeah, that's that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Super great.
Thank you, feminists. All right.
The results support only this hypothesis. Basically, the researchers observed and counted all the times an individual male received aggression from the females, and they counted the occurrence of males exhibiting subordinate status to the females by counting the number of times the males fled. So basically, if you run away, you lose. Now, if you're wondering, where is the part where the female bonobos refuse to mate with aggressive male bonobos?
It doesn't exist.
Oh no, they're gonna mate with the most aggressive ones.
Yep. Except in this case, his aggression will probably parallel his mother's aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what this nonsense, what they asserted.
Okay.
Are matriarchal and generally experience less male aggression compared to other mammals, aka the chimpanzees, aka humans. It wasn't in this paper, although it could be in other papers. So if you can find it, please share in the comments, and I'd love to do a follow-up.
I think that's the end of the clip. No, there's another minute.
Oh, good Lord.
So it's another minute and some change. Yeah, it's like a minute more. Okay.
I'll try to keep my mouth shut, but she's full of crap.
Let's do the, yeah.
Now, although the idea of female bonobos wiping aggression out of the gene pool would fit nicely within the reproductive control hypothesis, which would support the idea that female bonobos are choosing less aggressive males to mate with.
No.
In this paper.
So
yeah, no. No, they're not. They're not choosing less aggressive males.
Just keep going, Brian.
The most aggressive female is the most dominant, and her favored son is going to be her most aggressive son. Yeah. And he's going to sire 60% of the fucking offspring in the group.
All right. Let's let her finish.
I got a super chow that just came through. I'll read it for you. Great Indoors gave us $5 and says, to what extent can the bonobo social interaction within the group be seen as analogous to what is commonly referred to as a low-trust society?
Oh, it's a no-trust society.
Yeah, it's a no-trust society.
The males have the males have almost nothing to do with each other. They don't cooperatively hunt, right? Chimpanzees will do that. They'll hunt sometimes when there's not a whole lot of fruit around, right? So they'll go hunting in groups, right? They'll bring home the meat. They'll share it with the females, right? And share it with each other. So, I mean, like you have male cooperation going on in chimpanzee society. You don't have any male cooperation going on in bonobo society. They're socially isolated from each other. All they have is conflict and then prison rape to resolve the conflict. And and there you go. That's life among the
and also it's not
bonobos.
it is not actually
it's not
long-term.
sustainable.
It's not sustainable because if they encounter any group with any kind of male coalition, they're gone. Because they just can't muster anything. And the other thing is probably the males don't actually attack the females because there's no benefit in it.
No.
And the third thing is here's my hypothesis. The male aggression towards the females is reducing or preventing this it exploding, like the female aggression into exploding.
Yeah.
Like it's actually keeping the female aggression
in line.
In check. It's like today, male police spend about as much time policing lesbian violence as men in general spend engaging in any kind of criminal activity against women. Did you guys know that? I actually had Grok estimate it. Men spend as much, if not more, time policing lesbian violence than they do in engaging in violence against women. And if in this context, that policing would be considered aggression against women.
Oh,
who knows? Like, who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Maybe the male chimps are like, yes, knock it off, sisters. Stop trying to chew each other's fingers off.
It's like that that story that my friend Sam from work told me, because his dad had 3 wives. He's Lebanese, and from Lebanon, and his dad had 3 wives, and he would come home, and they'd be like all scratched and bruised up because they were fighting amongst each other, and he would give them the lecture. Right? The lecture. I have to leave the house so I can earn a living and support you. Right? You can't be doing this every time I leave. Right?
Imagine the stress he was under.
And then one day he came home and one of them was covered in blood in the kitchen. The other one was screaming and smashing things in the living room. And the third one was locked in the bathroom sobbing. Okay? And he beat all of them. And then after that, Sam said, after that, there was no fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was just no fighting.
Anecdotally, this hypothesis might have some merit. Maybe the chimpanzee's pimp hand is strong. Because they don't want the female chimps to explode into unbelievable levels of intersectional violence.
Yeah, no, and it's like he did not cause them any wounds. He just beat them. He beat them with a stick on their bottoms. Right? And he did it in front of the kids to humiliate them.
Man.
And it's like, okay, well, it worked. It worked. Yeah. They figured out how to like not fucking try to kill each other.
Yeah.
Every time
what do you do in that circumstance when you're responsible for the punishment? You can't just say, well, the police take them. They can deal with you. Like, and imagine the horror if he had come home and one of them was dead. Yeah. And one of them was a murderer. Yeah. Like, good Lord. And
the only one left was the one sobbing in the bathroom.
Yeah. And then like this is sort of corroborated by the sheer volume of lesbian violence.
Yeah.
Like they just, like, women do not know how to de-escalate.
No, they don't.
And it's not a situation that you want seeing happening, but you can understand it. Okay, so let's keep going.
So if this premise was not in this paper, why do we keep seeing TikTok saying it as if we have scientific basis for it? Well, it's because we are literally dying for a better, less violent world towards women. No, seriously, we're literally dying.
No, you're not.
Evidence. that female bonobos are taking violent males out of the gene pool because that would give us permission to do the same. But why permission in the first place? Permission from bonobos? Like, why don't we just do it now?
Because you all are unbelievably attracted to narcissistic sociopaths. Like, do we remember the T app? Or no, was it the T app? Yeah, I think it was. And what we found was that vast swaths of women were all choosing the same men who were a Chinese parade full of red flags of narcissism and sociopathy. Like you are, and we have statistical evidence that women find the narcissistic personality style to be itself attractive.
Yeah.
Okay. So you find these men attractive. You are seeking them out and having babies with them. Nobody wants you to. Yeah. If this results in women actually choosing men who are good fathers and understand loyalty and commitment, good. But I doubt that that's where Manifestelle is going to go. And also, this epidemic of violence against women, no. This is a complete fiction, a construct. Yeah. I can use an example that I recently walked through with Grok, because it wasn't like Grok, Grok is X's AI. Grok really pushed back. It took 4 hours for me to get to the point where it understood what I was saying. It was talking about this feminist organization that looks at the death of activists, like activists being assassinated around the world, right? And it found, lo and behold, that women are uniquely targeted. However, when I probe this information, I found that 90% plus, more like 95, 98% of the activists targeted around the world for assassination are male. And a few of the female activists are targeted when they're basically advocating for the same state undermining activism. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it is state undermining activism that the men are. Yeah. But I think it was AWID. AWID was the organization. I do not know the acronym. Don't ask me to explain it, but it was an organization looking at the death of female activists around the world. But this organization said that women were uniquely targeted for gender abuse prior to their assassination and sexual violence. So I said, Grok, does this organization look at whether or not male activists are targeted for gendered abuse and sexual violence? Oh, no. And then I said,
no.
How can it say that women are uniquely targeted? You make a good point.
Yeah,
I actually empirically say that. So when she's talking about the epidemic of female violence, it's an epidemic of reframing the data in such a way to emphasize one particular aspect of it, that it's basically p hacking, activist p hacking.
Yep. No, and you have to, just for the listeners, PSA, public service announcement, right? Basically you have, so my daughter's going through some shit, and I was looking for a supplement regimen for her, and I was like, so Claude.ai, can you do me a solid, and just given what you know about her condition, right? Can you give me a list of the most bioavailable supplements that she can take every day, right? That will improve her health and start healing her gut, right? And he comes with this huge list, right? And it's like massive amounts, right? The only thing that looked even remotely reasonable was the 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 a day, right? Because 10,000, you have to take that for like 6 months before it even remotely threatens toxicity, right? At that dose. But all of these other things like potassium and magnesium and calcium and everything else, sodium and the whole bit, right? And all of these other things. And I was like, okay, now I would like you to adjust this regimen, assuming that she's getting at least some of these nutrients from a healthy diet. And it was completely different. He was like, "Oh, I see what you're getting at." Right? Like you can't trust the AI. You can't trust the AI to give you the right answer. You have to actually know that it's going to be completely naive. It was just assuming that she wasn't eating anything, or that if she was eating things, they were just calories without any nutrients, without any vitamins or minerals in them. Right? So yeah, no. So you have to really be careful with the AI.
Yeah.
Don't just take its word for it.
Grok is actually, I have a lot of AI stories, and yes, I know my camera is a little bit screwed up right now. I have AI stories that I can talk about, but let's finish this time code while I fix the
All right.
In evolutionary biology, sperm wars often refers to the competition between male gametes inside the female reproductive tract. But this can also be applied to the larger truth. Women, through their mate choice, have always been the ultimate arbiters of which sperm and which traits get carried forward. In this sense, women control human evolution.
Yes! 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 Yes, you do. Jesus fuck. Finally. Okay, so women control everything. So if men are violent, it's because of you.
Eve, how the female body drove 200 million years of human evolution, she talks about exactly that. How women...
Seems to be an issue with my video here. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and stop sharing the video. It got like choppy for some reason. I don't know why. So let's do it again.
Yeah, just let me restart here and see if I can get this working.
Yeah, your connection is really bad too. Both you guys. It's kind of like, but it should be okay. All right, let's try again.
Have a role in shaping.
Yeah, I don't know why my video is dropping frames there. Can you guys hear it okay? Even if the video quality isn't great, can you guys hear everything that she's saying? I don't know why, but it's like dropping crazy frames. So
it's not playing for me right now.
Well, I paused it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's why. So hold on.
Okay.
All right.
How women have a role in shaping human evolution. Across evolutionary time, the female body has been the primary selective force shaping not only reproductive biology, but also brain development, social organization, and even language. I took my time reading this book, and my main takeaway is that women have been shaping humanity ever since the beginning of humanity. Whether we believe it or not, whether we accept it or not, the reality is we do. We simply do.
Okay. Yeah, you simply do. So it's all your fault.
That's the trick, right? How do we get out of that bug, that little
yeah,
yes,
no,
it's true. I mean, women select men, and so like, you know,
well, most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. Yeah, most of the time. In general.
So,
and with that knowledge that we have the ability to shape the future of humanity, we can then be more mindful of how we are doing so. Because it's not a question of if we are able to do that, we're already doing that. It's just a matter of how. If aggression and violence have a heritable component, then female mate choice becomes an evolutionary filter. So let's get into the biology of aggression. There are three things that point to the biological basis of aggression, and that it may be real. Number one is hormones. Testosterone has been linked to aggressive and status-seeking behavior.
No. Analyses suggest status-seeking, yes. Aggression, not necessarily.
Right. Yeah, as usual, it's the misconception of testosterone as bad. Yeah, I mean, we, Alison got into it with Michael Flood the other day over this, because we were responding to, I'm just talking because Alison's apparently like just gone now, so we gotta wait until she gets back. But Michael Flood was coming after Alison on X because I was explaining how, like I'm pretty sure that and I've spoken to some people I had on the show, that one of the causes for my cancer was that I was like, before I got involved with HBR, I was like really into like soy drinks because I was told they were healthy and I was trying to be healthy. And so I was doing that. And my T levels plummeted, and I basically became vulnerable to cancers. And I brought it up we were talking about the matcha man phenomenon, which is performative masculinity or whatever, and Alison was putting out these short clips, and even though there were a lot of clips out there, the one that Michael Flood got really upset about was my anecdote about my experience with that. And he got in there and he was basically like, you guys are fools. Like, it was just so angry. And I was like, why is this the thing that really
it's because he eats nothing but soy.
Huh?
It's because he eats nothing but soy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, exactly. So, but the thing is, the whole thing is that for whatever reason, he's like, well, we have like, here are a bunch of studies and all that. And I had done, research, and I talked to some people who are sort of like more in the, like, say, outside of the, the cathedral, outside of the cathedral on medicine. And they confirm that for whatever reason, like the whole health industry in the mainstream, they all treat testosterone like it's some kind of poison. They all, to some degree, have this belief that testosterone is bad, or at least too much of it is bad. And the thing is, even with roid rage, I think it's like when you're coming down from it that you become like that. Like it converts to estrogen.
It converts to estradiol. Yeah.
Yes, and that's when the aggression comes. But
so it actually has to convert into a female hormone, an estrogen, before it causes inappropriate rage and aggression.
Exactly.
Do you think you could switch to your camera for a bit while I work on this? And might be.
Well, we only have 20 minutes left, and nobody really needs to see your face. We can hear you.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what good it would do. Just like, because I don't. You guys were talking.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just that. Yeah.
Can I switch to a different camera? I can switch your camera.
Camo
camera.
Yeah, the camo camera is not one that's not working. Let me see if I can get anything else.
You guys have like one on your laptop?
Yeah, but it sucks.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
It's the
fine.
wiggly.
We got to get through this.
We're back at the wiggly cam.
So yeah, anyway, she was linking testosterone to aggression because of course they do. And
testosterone is a permissive hormone for aggression, right? But testicles aren't the only things that generate testosterone. Adrenal glands do as well, right? So so you're looking at, unless you remove the adrenal glands when you castrate a male, they're still capable of aggression. It's just and aggression is contextual. It's always contextual. So an inappropriate aggression is, like what they found is that if you deprive children of who want to engage in it of rough and tumble play, right? They end up either responding to novel social situations with either social withdrawal or inappropriate aggression. Right. And they've demonstrated this with rats. They've demonstrated this with chimpanzees. In fact, they've actually demonstrated with chimpanzees that deprivation of rough and tumble play in early childhood results in cognitive deficits that can be replicated by intentionally damaging an adult monkey's brain. Okay. And you can't, of course, experiment like that on children, but they found that with human children, it's basically the same as with rats and with chimpanzees, follows the same patterns, replicates the results. And so you have this situation where women have been basically micromanaging childhood for kids for however many decades, and you have these young boys who've been deprived of rough and tumble play, right? Just being the boys will be boys thing, right? They've been deprived of that through their whole childhoods, been like punished for engaging in it, and then they grow up to be either socially withdrawn or they grow up to be inappropriately aggressive, right? So, I mean, I'm sorry, but women are mismanaging the species.
Well, so then
Big
what's
time.
Manifestelle's reaction going to be?
Yeah.
All right.
And testosterone really has it doesn't have a whole lot to do with it, although low testosterone men are moody, they're easily irritated, they're agitatable, they have a short fuse, right? Okay, like look at that vape store video. You remember the vape store video?
Mm-hmm.
Where the Trump supporter guy in the Trump shirt and the Trump hat
I remember. Yeah, that's
comes in. Yeah, and you can tell he's got healthy testosterone, and he's actually trying to be fair with the guy, trying to be reasonable, right? Trying to be like a reasonable guy, like just sell me the vape juice and I'll get out of here and I won't come back, right? And the dude behind the counter is absolutely 100% doughy low T, right? And he's just flipping his shit. He's like small dog fucking fear aggression, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just absolutely going insane. And so I'm just like, healthy testosterone is a good thing. And, honestly, it's like Black conservative perspective. Greg Foreman, BCP on Twitter, on X. He's like, yeah, no, the Democrats are the party of low testosterone men and high calorie women.
Can I?
Yes.
Yeah. We should probably get back to the time codes, but also I am struggling with my. Are you sure you want a cat for mouse removal? Maybe I will.
No, I think I caught another mouse, so I don't know if I need the cat. I have peanut butter.
I just want to point out
spawn and I've got my spine and I've got my peanut butter.
That this woman actually resents the fact that men engage in altruistic punishment against women in order to maintain social peace and cohesion. And she wants to have her relational violence towards other women. She wants to be free to express it fully. And then dominate other women based on her own violence, which will not be in any way constrained by men, which is why she likes bonobos. And also why she gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
No offense. Of all the women we respond to, even like Bryony, queer Kiwi, Rainbow Bright, and all of the bedroom feminists, and even like the Andrew Sarkeesians, this woman gives me, I don't want to say the ick. She gives me the creepy crawlies. I don't know what it is about her. It's just something about her. She is truly terrifying on some level. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's play some more of this.
Just a relationship between higher circulating testosterone and increased aggression or dominance related outcomes. Cortisol also plays a role. The dual hormone hypothesis posits that aggression is most likely when testosterone is high and cortisol is low. And it
creates a
physiological profile of dominance without.
There's a
link.
source on the screen there.
Yeah.
So the claim is that when testosterone is high and cortisol is low, that's when you get male aggression.
Okay, but what kind of male aggression? That's the thing, too.
Well, we have to look at the data, too. I mean...
We would have to look at it.
Okay, let's keep going.
Of reprisal. And the second is muscle mass and stature. Greater upper body strength and muscle mass are associated with a higher likelihood of engaging in aggressive competition. And anthropological research shows that in many societies, taller men
Wait a second.
historically had greater access to
Wait
mates.
a second. But do they control for the fact that when you engage in aggressive competition, you tend to increase your upper body mass? Like,
or that yeah, when you don't have the greater upper body mass and upper body strength, you're going to avoid aggression because you're scared of getting beaten up, right? Like, what does she want? Does she want to like marry one of these like little rabbity
just marry
engineering
a femboy?
Engineering types who like, no, but she doesn't want a femboy. If she wanted a femboy, there's like billion fucking femboys, right?
Well,
who are out there.
Not ones like femboys aren't like are rabbity engineers. Femboys, they pursue some form of excellence, but like it's a different category.
No. What I'm saying is, men of short stature, right? Is she going to marry some guy who's shorter than her?
No.
Who's lower in body weight than her, right? Who's less able to open a fucking pickle jar than her? Is she going to do that?
No, of course not.
No.
Okay, let's finish this. I think I have a serious suspicion.
Like if you're looking at aggression, and if you're looking at societies that relied on aggression in order to survive, right? The bigger and stronger you were, right, the more likely you were to survive long enough to pass on your genes as a male, right? And you could pass it on to multiple women, okay, in multiple cultures, okay, particularly if you were a warring species, right? The raping and the pillaging, right? Like if the Danes had done more raping and less pillaging in the British Isles, maybe the British would have straighter teeth. But yeah, no. So you look at all of those things come together. Well, those were the people those men were not necessarily the men who survived. They were the men who reproduced, right? And if you died at 25, having sired 8 children, versus a man who lived to 90, having sired none, you've won. Right, and it really doesn't matter whether she consented to giving birth to your child.
Oh, here. I just asked Grok. Social factors like poverty, education, or trauma often predict violence better than testosterone levels.
Yes.
So
you can't use serum testosterone to predict aggression. You can't do it. It's like you can have a man with like top tier testosterone, and he'll be like that guy in the vape shop, and you have a dude with like super low testosterone, and he's like flipping his shit.
Yeah, and again, like low testosterone can be associated with, let's see,
high levels of aggression.
And roid rage is actually because testosterone is being converted to estrogen in the brain. Studies show testosterone can increase in competitiveness, risk-taking, and reactive aggression in certain contexts.
Yes,
and
reactive aggression.
Also,
so if somebody attacks you, you'll be able to fight back.
Also, it increases cooperativeness and fairness.
Yes, cooperativeness and fairness in bargaining and cooperation, male cooperation. This is the Tsumani study that they did. Right, with testosterone, the tribe in Bolivia, right, where they followed them all day on a hunt. These two guys, and like it's like you get the ants in pants syndrome, right? When you're home with the fam, like all the time, everything starts to irritate you. The kids are bugging you. The wife is nagging you. It's like it's getting like really annoying, right? And the meat's running out, and so like the annoyance, your testosterone is really low. Right? And so everything's irritating you. And the annoyance gets you to knock on Barney Rubble's door and say, let's go out hunting for a taper, right? And they tested their testosterone all day through saliva samples, right? Tested it all day, and then once they brought down a taper, they got this massive flood of testosterone, right? And then immediately on the heels of that, a massive flood of oxytocin, right? Which is the bonding hormone, right? Which connects you with your wife and your children and your family, right? Okay, so they got these two surges of hormones back to back, right? The surge of testosterone was like, it gave them energy. It gave them like the resources. It freed up the resources needed to repair damaged muscles, refuel, right? All of that stuff, right? Gave them a sense of like euphoria, right? And then the oxytocin reminded them of the wives and children back home, right? And then so that they didn't sit down and cut that thing up and like cook it and eat it all themselves. They took the trouble to lug it back home, right? And then they divided it fairly between the two of them so that they could ensure, right? Because if you act like an asshole and you hog 3/4 of the taper, right? Yeah, that guy's not going to hunt with you again. Right? So it's like all of this is absolutely 100% perfect. And they coast on that testosterone high for a few days until the meat's starting to run out. And then they start getting irritable. They start getting restless. They start having problems sleeping, right? And then they go knock on Barney Rubble's door and say, hey, you want to come out with me and hunt? Yes. Yes, I do.
All right, shall we continue?
Yep.
And higher social status, reflecting an evolutionary pathway in which stature and strength increase reproductive opportunities. And these traits, while not inherently violent, they create a physical potential for dominance and conflict. It's like pit bulls and chihuahuas. One has a greater capacity for damage simply because of their physique, but it doesn't mean that they will always be 100% damaging. They just have a greater capacity for it. And the third one is the warrior gene.
Yes. Yes. No, chihuahuas are horribly fucking aggressive. They're too small to hurt anybody. Pit bulls are notoriously, if they're socialized properly, notoriously fucking gentle and loving and submissive and sweet, right? So it's like, I'm sorry, but like it's contextual, and I'm sorry, but okay, so what you're arguing for is you're arguing for women to choose low testosterone males with small stature. That's never going to happen.
Okay, next continue.
Or MAOA gene, or the warrior gene, regulates the breakdown of neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. A low activity variant, MAOA-L, has been linked to heightened impulsivity and aggression, particularly when combined with childhood maltreatment. And we have to take note of this, that just because you have the gene doesn't mean that you will 100% express it. Your genes may predispose you, but your environment gives the finishing touch. So combining all of these three factors, hormones, muscle mass and stature, and the warrior gene, they all constitute a picture that the biological basis of violence may exist. But caveat on caveat on caveat, okay? Just
remember,
it doesn't.
Again, social factors like poverty, education, or trauma often predict violence better than testosterone levels. In fact, Bonobo Ma Baker's cletus is probably violent because Bonobo Ma Baker beat the ever-living crap out of him as a child.
Well, and is probably also like genetically prone to violence.
Mm-hmm. But again, maybe genetically prone to violence. That doesn't mean he's genetically prone to testosterone. Like there's two different factors. It's women are genetically prone to violence too. And when she says you have the gene for it, doesn't mean you will 100% express it. She just seems to be talking about men.
Yeah, of course.
Not recognizing that women are also have violence genes in them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's continue.
That's the end of the 3 time codes I chose, but I can give you guys her thesis, and then you can respond to it. But I think you guys are able to see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, go
essentially,
ahead. Thesis.
What?
Give us her thesis. I'm confirming.
Her thesis: women have always held and must consciously reclaim. So they've always held and must consciously reclaim the power to shape a less violent human future through deliberate mate choice, coalition building, and nurturing, just as bonobo females do through biology and collective action. Expanded, women has always held the power to change the future. We have the power to cultivate tenderness, cooperation, creativity, and resilience by choosing differently, by choosing fathers differently, by choosing to nurture boys and men differently. We can claim our power of choice fully and without apology. We do more than create children. We create a whole new world.
Okay, yeah, except for I don't want to live in bonobo society.
No.
I don't want to have to mate with Cletus.
No.
All right? Just because his mom says so.
No, not just because his mom cracked your skull.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And you probably don't want your 12-year-old daughters have to prostitute themselves to be able to exist.
Yep. No.
You'd probably prefer them to have a father who takes care of them.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So,
yeah. No, thank you. No sale, Manifestelle. But honestly, it's not like women are going to do this anyway. They're going to
go for the dark triad guys still, right? And they're not gonna marry the kind of rabbity engineering types, right? Like the 5'7" guys who, put on a button-up shirt and go to work every day and make good money, writing
but they
code,
also aren't sneaky fuckers.
Being boring, but
those guys are also not sneaky fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
dudes who are existing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And doing useful work. So it's like, but yeah, no, you're going to go for the guy like my son, who's 6'5", muscular, right? And a little bit of a freaking, little bit of an asshole. That's who you're going to go for.
Yep, exactly. All right. So.
All right.
Did you get the super chat or the super chat that I saw, Brian? Or there was a super chat.
Yeah, I do have it up. I'll read it now.
Okay.
Albatross gave us $5 earlier and says gibbons might be a slightly better analogy for humans since gibbons actually pair bond and work together to help the family and are pretty peaceful.
Oh, you're talking about monogamous species. No, we're like a hybrid monogamous tournament species.
So I would push back on that, but we probably should get going. I think we're obligate monogamous, honestly. It's just that just like the chimps can change into the bonobos when you have completely artificial circumstances, I think we can revert back to not like I don't even think tournament, more like actually more of a tournament style mating.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, but it's a reversion. Well, just like the chimps can revert into the bonobos. But it's like, I think if you just leave us in an environment with the necessary amount of resource pressure and tribal pressure, we probably would go back to like a strict monogamy. And just because the only way for a woman to actually have children in that circumstance is to be able to
secure the resources of a man.
Family, not just a man, a family. And that family is going to want to make sure that whatever offspring she produces is related to them. So it's not just the man. It is the grandma, it's the man's brothers, it's the man's sisters, it's the man's fathers and grandfather and grandma. all of those people that woman is going to endeavor to invest in her offspring, she cheats if that offspring isn't genetically related to them. So that's where the pressure comes from. And the reason why I say that is that I don't think that human women just off on their own trying to survive can maintain fertility.
No.
It's too strenuous. So it's like we have to have a social group supplying us with the necessary calories to even become fertile. So and
so we need to get the government out of the business of supporting women.
Yeah, we need to get the government out of the business of providing women calories.
Yeah.
Otherwise we're not going to solve this problem. And also women who were able to convince a social group to provide them the necessary contribution for them to become fertile likely had the social skills to raise children.
Yes.
Which likely resulted in a much better outcome. So,
yes.
All right.
All right.
Okay. But anyway, so if you'd like to support the show.
There was one more thing I wanted to add to this, because she does make one more claim. And it's just funny to me because she basically makes the argument that what women being careful about selecting men for reproduction is not eugenics, because eugenics is systematic. And I think it's funny because it literally is. It's just that there is no moral component to people making selections, but there's this desire to say eugenics is male because it's systemic and it's patriarchal, but women, when they do it, it's not. It's survival, it's choice, it's freedom. It's just funny because you have to like do this mental pretzeling to like justify something that nobody really should have a problem with anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, okay, so if you have a Harlequin baby, right? You know that you have a 1 in 4 chance of having another Harlequin baby. And anybody who doesn't know what a Harlequin baby is, go look it up, right? And so if you choose not to have any more kids, or if you choose to get a sperm donor or a donor egg, right, in order to have that second child, right, you're engaging in eugenics, right, to avoid having a second Harlequin baby, right? And and I don't have a problem with that. I really don't have a problem with that, because that Harlequin babies only occur when both parents have the gene, right? And then there's a 1 in 4 chance that will occur. And so in order to avoid that, right, you have to replace one gamete or the other with somebody else's who does not have the gene. And so, I mean, like, I don't have a problem with somebody who decides that, okay, we're going to avoid having a second Harlequin baby, but we want another child, right? And they go get a donor egg or donor sperm, right? And that's eugenics. That's eugenics. I'm sorry, but it is. Yeah. Right? I have zero problem with that. Not intentionally taking the chance to create a baby that's going to grow up into someone, if they grow up into someone who has like these massive freaking problems, right? And just look it up. Just look it up. It's horrific. It's so tragic. Even the ones that survive are just, they're crippled for life, and they have to go through like such, like their eyelids slowly seal shut, right? They go blind, their fingers gradually fuse together and fall off, the tips of them fall off, and they just, it's not, you don't want to bring a child like that into the world. You don't want to create a child like that. So I can see engaging in eugenics to avoid that. And So I'm just like, would I say, well, abort that baby? No. Right? But would I say avoid conceiving that child? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, no, it's like
right.
eugenics happens all the time.
So with that kind of sad, I just want to remind everybody, feedthebadger.com/justtip. Seems it's a really hard thing to come back with after saying that.
Yeah.
To send us a comment and a tip with that comment, and feedthebadger.com/support. Very important for you guys to go and support or potentially create a subscription, because you're the reason why we can continue to talk about this stuff, because it's not a narrative that institutionally it's very welcome, shall we say. So we rely on extremely stubborn fuckers like you to actually keep us going. So feedthebadger.com/support, and there's also an option in there to start up a subscription, which I would, please consider. And I will hand it back to you, Brian.
Okay, well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we talked about in the show today, and please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of the Rantzerker, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.